Hello. I want to talk about something that I've been very quiet about for the past few years. I am a lymphoma patient. I was diagnosed with lymphoma in 2016. And I'm forcing myself to be out here in the cold until I make this because I think it's important. I think a lot of times in our lives, but especially as young adults, it's probably for everyone. It's just easier to talk about our accomplishments, and when we get a blessing of like a new car, a new job, and that's fine. Those are great things to share. But then when you don't have that, and the only thing you have to share is not a great accomplishment, it's kind of tough, and sometimes you don't really know where to go. So for me, I listen to a lot of other people talk on YouTube, whether it's their own channel, just being heard by someone, talking on a podcast, and coping with feelings that I've never experienced. I've had the pleasure of never having to experience before in my life, and now I'm trying to deal with it. And there can still be blessings and glory in that, not just because we don't have the perfect life to share with people doesn't mean that there's no good in it. And I just want to read a super quick scripture in Romans 5:3-5. We boast in the hope of the glory of God. Not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, character, and character, hope, and hope does not put us to shame. And that doesn't mean it's easy. It's not, by definition. We're suffering, and I do try to find hope and glory in suffering, and it's been getting me through it. So I've been through a lot the past 4 years. Not saying it's hard, which it has been, but I've been through a lot, and it's not just the cancer. It's been a lot of other things, and it's just too long to share in this video. Maybe I'll get to it another time. I just want to talk about what I'm going through right now in this moment, and just be open about it. So, just briefly summarize, I started having signs of cancer in 2015, right after I graduated from college. I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, stage 4 type B, in 2016. And then again, stage 4 type B in 2018, which was a lot worse than the first time. I was expected to get a transplant last October of 2018. And I had to go through 4 different kinds of treatment before we found something that worked. It was a little booger, I guess you could say. And we got the treatments to finally work, basically. And then I had my transplant in July, a bone marrow transplant from an unrelated donor, a 100% match. Went through that. It was hard in its own way. I wasn't really prepared for it to be as difficult as it was, because sometimes it feels like treatment is hard, just like cancer is hard. You think you're going to get healed, but at the same time it affects all other parts of your body. And anyway, so I had it, and I started recovering, getting a lot better. Every time people ask how I'm doing, I have nothing but good things to say, like, stomach pains are gone, or this and that. Like, yes, I'm still dealing with some other stuff. I'm going through menopause, which I did not know was going to happen. I am going to make a video about that, because I had no clue that was even a possibility, and apparently this is, like, a lot of women deal with that. So but anyway, so I had a PET scan last week to check and see how things were going, and I basically was told it's not great news, and the transplant didn't do what it was supposed to do. And I was told that I have cancer. And this is the third time I've been told that I have cancer. And the first 2 times I was told, I was probably 70 something pounds both times. And I looked dead. I was nearly dead both the first times I was told. And this has been so much harder. Even though I feel great, I look healthy, and the cancer is nowhere near stage 4 type B like it was back then. I don't know how bad it is. I tried asking it, is it even out of stage? And he didn't really answer it for me, but it's all around my abdomen and sporadically, and one area in my neck, and I don't remember. But this has definitely been the hardest, because the first 2 times I was told that I had cancer, I knew I was sick, and I was prepared. I wasn't prepared for this, and I felt like I was so close to the end of my race, thinking all this is going to be behind me, and then you get told, just kidding. And I don't know when this is going to end, and now I'm accepting the fact that I don't know if this is ever going to end. It's really disappointing. It's just I don't think pain is on a hierarchy. I don't think anyone's pain is greater or worse than mine, or even my own pain is worse than all the things I'm going through. But I haven't experienced anything like this since I started feeling sick in 2015. This was just a punch in the gut. It really sucks. And I'm not sure what the plan is. The doctor wants me to stop my immunosuppressants and see if my immune system will wake up and fight this. It's only 3 months old, my immune system. It's brand new, it's still growing. The risk with that is, if you stop your immunosuppressants too early and your immune system isn't used to your new body, it can attack you from the inside because it sees the body as foreign. That's what it means. And it can cause any other health problem, you name it, it can practically do it. I understand that both are deadly. The cancer is deadly. The graft versus host disease is also deadly. So I don't really feel comfortable doing that. I'm going to go back to the doctor and, I don't know, probably get a second opinion and maybe look at other hospitals, just try to see what I can do. But and I'm just expressing my feelings here. I'm not saying that there's no hope for me, but I had a transplant. We kind of pulled out all the big guns for this. If there was any cancer left, which we did see activity, we didn't know if it was inflammation or cancer. But if there was any left, it was so small we couldn't even do a biopsy to check and see what it was. And after doing the transplant and the radiation, the chemo, if it's there, it doesn't make me feel great, because I don't know what we're going to do, and I don't want to go through very harsh treatment where, okay, yeah, the cancer's gone, but now you're going to have to deal with liver problems or lung problems or whatever. Like, I already dealing with fertility problems and risk for who knows what. Like, they said that I'm going to have cataracts sooner in life, and I've been wearing computer glasses often when I can in front of a screen. I'm trying to do everything I can to protect myself. I'm trying to eat all organic. I got a freaking air purifier that not only traps the allergens but also like kills them with light. Like, I'm doing everything that I can, but I don't know if you can't really reverse the effects of what you've been through. So that's my concern. That's what I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to do something about it. It's just, it's amazing that I can even talk about it now. Because when I first found out, it's just felt like I mean, over the past few days just felt like a looming, it sounds like just like a dark cloud over my head. Like I can't get it out of my mind. And Sunday was the weirdest, hardest probably, because like me and my family were going to eat at the house, and I was going to take a bite and they were eating, and I said, when do we ever eat before and not pray? And my mom's like, we prayed, you just said amen like 2 seconds ago. And I didn't remember. I still don't remember that. And it's worse than just like, I felt like that, it's not that I didn't remember, it's like that moment when I sat down to eat is like, that moment didn't even exist for me. Like, it's not like, oh, like, it's not like I just forgot. Like, I was sitting there eating, I don't know how I got there. Like, my brain wasn't even active before that time. And then I went back to my apartment, and I was doing things, like my body was moving, but I wasn't there. I was not there. And that's why I feel like my brain, like my mind is not even, like I feel like I can't even handle it sometimes. And it's a very weird feeling. I've never felt like this. Like, I felt sad, I felt upset before in my life, but these things, they're just weird. And I talked to a therapist today, and she said that it's she has another cancer patient that is feeling the same thing, and it's just a result of going through like some kind of trauma. So if anyone is going through that, I found a way to help fix it. It's called grounding, and you basically take advantage of your 5 senses and really focus in on them. So like, and I think that's also helpful to record this out here, because like, for example, like you talk about what you smell. Like, I can't smell anything because I am sniffling a little bit because I'm emotional, but like I see clouds, I see trees. Like, what do I feel? Like, I feel cold, I feel my leg on the chair, and it just grounds you back into reality. So I will try that next time. And that's kind of what I did. I mean, I went for a walk after that, and there was a guy walking at the park, and he stopped me because he saw my hair, and he told me that his wife died for breast cancer last year, and just shared what he went through, and he asked me what I went through, and that was the first time I've ever been able to talk about what I'm going through without crying. And I think it gave me the push I needed to start being more open. So that was really awesome. But I mean, I don't have the answers right now, but what I could say is that I accept whatever the outcome is. I'm accepting the fact that I might not totally get past this. I mean, it could be a very long road ahead now. Like, I just don't know. And the reality is, like, not everyone makes it. I'm not saying that I don't think I'm gonna make it. I'm not saying I think I'm gonna die, but they're thoughts that I'm having to consider now. And, you know, if that were the case, I don't know why I should think that I wouldn't, when so many other people do. I mean, I can't just sit here and say, oh, that's not going to happen to me. Like, I don't know. So the way I see it is, this life, no one was meant to survive it. Meaning, whether I die of old age or I die earlier because of medical problems, you know, there's a time, there's an appointed time to be born, and there's an appointed time to die. And in my opinion, and everyone else's opinion who would look at someone as a young adult would say, you know, that they died from cancer. But I mean, who's to say really when is our time? And it just may come earlier than expected. Because see, the thing is, I had plans for my life. I hate crying. This is really awful. But I had my plans, what I was gonna do. And I think we all have plans for what we want. And life doesn't go according to plan. But you do the best with the life that you have. And I can still do that. That hasn't been taken from me. And God is still a good God. Whether, I'm totally healed and I go on to have a successful career or whatever. I don't know. Honestly, I don't even care about that stuff. But my cares have kind of changed. But, whatever the definition of that is, or I could, continue to suffer with medical problems and make it or not, and God is still a good God, because who's to say that we're deserving of anything that we have in life? We're not. And I have had a great life. There's a podcast I listened to by Jim Quick, and it just really stuck with me. He brought a doctor on and said part of the brain that processes anxiety is the same part of the brain that processes gratitude, and that you can't feel both at the same time. So, and I think it's true. I don't know, maybe you can try it. Maybe it's like the whole not being able to sneeze with your eyes open. But I am very grateful for what I have, and despite this cancer, really, I have a lot of things to be grateful for. I have a great family. I do live in a great country. I've never been homeless. I went to university. I have a lot to be grateful for. And there's one other thing I want to read that kind of relates to everything. It's James 4:13-5. Now listen, you who say, today or tomorrow we will go to this or that city, spend a year there, carry on business, and make money. Why, you don't even know what will happen tomorrow. What is your life? You are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. Instead, you ought to say, if it is the Lord's will, we will do this or that. So it really just brings things into perspective for me going through this. Even if I wasn't going through, even if I wasn't a cancer patient, there's no such thing as a perfect life. We all go through things, and to assume that this is what I'm owed, a perfect life. We all want that, because we were created in a perfect, we came from people who came from a perfect world, the Garden of Eden. And our hearts always long for that. And I long for that, and I know I'm going to have that in heaven. So this life is, like it says, like a mist. It's a vapor. It's here and then it's gone. It vanishes compared to the grand scheme of things. And that gives me a lot of peace. I know that I have that, and in heaven there's no crying, pain, suffering, or cancer. And that is the reason for the hope that I have. And until then, I just have really enjoyed the times I have connected with people. So hopefully I can do that more often. And that is all. Thank you for listening. I should probably update when I hear more from the doctor, so I will do that. Thank you.